mistakes in Roblox Rivals, from bad settings to poor loadout choices and finally mechanics. In today's video, we will be going through 18 mistakes people make that lose them games. I will also include the most recent changes in Season 3, new weapons, and what to avoid once you unlock them. And by the end of this video, your win streak will improve a lot. The first mistake is keeping this flashing effect on. It completely throws you off. If you want to get rid of that red flashing effect when damaging enemies, you can do that by going into settings, then video, then scrolling all the way down until you find accessibility. There, you can either put it on outline or disabled, and that red flashing won't be a problem anymore. The next mistake would be not disabling easy quick attack. What this does is once you use your quick melee or quick utility, it will automatically use these abilities. For example, automatically dashing with Sight. This can throw you off a lot because if we use Sight as an example, you want to fake it a lot in Arena to stay unpredictable, which you can't do with this setting enabled. It will just automatically dash and they will always know when you're dashing. Don't make your crosshair blend into the background. For white color specifically, there are maps such as Arena where a white crosshair is almost invisible because it blends in perfectly with the map colors. You have probably seen me use a pink crosshair, and that's because it's a color you barely see on all these maps except Dimension, and it's always visible. To test that, you can either do it with these images in crosshair settings, or by hopping into every map and testing different crosshair colors. Not many people know about this, but if you're playing against Flamethrower and that burning damage is making you lose the game or panic, don't worry, because throwing smoke grenades actually allows you to stop that burning damage. If you are inside a smoke, of course. So the next time you're struggling with burning damage, don't forget to use smokes. If you have Spear right now, or once you unlock it, the one big mistake I see is people placing it without thinking. I'm specifically referring to the positioning of Spear, and the higher you place it, the higher you will obviously jump, which makes you so much easier to hit because you're really exposed. What I like doing on Arena specifically is placing Spear as low as possible because that allows me to jump just a bit higher than the walls and instantly reposition instead of making myself vulnerable. So always place Spear lower. Another Spear mistake is not pairing it with broken gimmicks such as this one. You can use Spear to place it under maps such as Construction, then you can equip Flamethrower, daggers, and grappler with it, and do what I'm showing on screen. You basically use Flamethrower to jump higher, move backwards, pull the person, and then use daggers to double jump and get back to Spear, and they are already in the void. This is more of a fun gimmick, but it's just one of the examples of what you can do with Spear if you combo it with the right loadout. Paintball got an insane buff, but there's one mistake I see people make. They completely forget that paintball isn't hitscan anymore, and most of them don't even know what that means, which is why they get mad at their aim once they start missing shots in games. It's not your aim. Hitscan basically means being able to register the damage instantly upon firing, so no bullet travel and no bullet drop. Something like Sniper basically. The second you shoot, it instantly hits. While projectile works like bow or RPG, just when it comes to paintball, it's a bit faster than those two. So instead of shooting people directly like you would with AR, you need to actually predict enemy movements and shoot in front of them. If you're at really close range, that shouldn't be such a huge issue. Don't use grappler only when trying to get high ground. Instead, use it to reposition on lower ground where they can't see you. What I mean by that is, if you're grappling somewhere on high ground or an exposed location, your opponent will be able to see that grapple and all they will have to do is pre-fire and you're done. What you can do instead is use it on lower ground. Grapple to a different position from one wall to another, make it less visible for the opponent, and that will help you stay unpredictable. Paired with Sight, this is insanely good on Arena. Another grappler mistake is always pulling enemies. Pull them only when they're camping with Riot Shield in a corner, or sitting on ramp in Arena, or just not moving in general. This makes them panic and it's so much easier to get damage or an elimination. Look at how good it actually is. Another mistake would be not subscribing to my channel. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. Help me reach 100,000 subs faster. Another mistake I see is not using Trowel. This is one of the most underrated melees in the game. Not only can you do the Trowel jump boost, but you can also use it as cover or to throw enemies off, since you can jump on all of these cubes and basically climb better or overall stay unpredictable. Pretty underrated when paired with Sniper. The next mistake is not using crossbow instead of sniper after the most recent update. Unfortunately, sniper hitbox is not as good as it was before, and a lot of people struggle to aim with it now. I find crossbow much easier since the hitbox wasn't nerfed, and you also don't even have to scope in to hit accurate shots, so give it a try. Another mistake is not using knife with grappler. This combo is insanely strong because it allows you to pull opponents towards you and instantly backstab after that. Or you can use grappler to get closer or behind them and backstab that way. Really strong combo, and it fits your usual loadout with daggers and bow really well. Oh my days. Oh my days, fam. The next mistake I see people making when I play against them is pulling Riot Shield even though they know I have Exogun, Spray, or even Distortion and Flamethrower. This throws them off completely and they instantly start panicking. So if your opponent pulls one of these weapons, you don't want to be using Riot Shield anymore. Use something that is way more useful. Another mistake I see a lot is people playing really aggressively with secondary weapons. I recommend only pushing with secondary if the opponent is low and you can catch them off guard, but if they're not low HP and you start chasing them, it's just GG's for you most of the time. Another mistake I see people make is once they finally collect 10 skin tickets they grinded hard for, they spend them on a skin case. Guys, please don't do this. Instead, you can wait for your favorite skin in the shop and buy that with skin tickets. The price difference is huge, yet it requires the same amount of tickets. Now let me know in the comments what's more worth it, a skin case and a bad skin on a random weapon, or the skin you have wanted for such a long time. Another mistake is picking the same spot. Why is this bad? Well, once you pick from one spot, you let your opponent know where you are. Once you hide, they will expect in the exact same position because that's where you first peeked from. And 9 out of 10 times they will pre-fire or even eliminate you because you're going back to the same spot, especially if you're using weapons such as sniper or crossbow. You want to move as much as possible and constantly reposition. Only peek from the same spot if you're 100% sure you won't get punished for it. The next mistake is not changing sides when starting a new round in arena. Instead of always going through this window on the left and dashing up with sight, try going through the window on the right and dashing on a different wall. You can go right or you can go left to confuse your opponent, but never push the same side because they will expect it. Just keep switching. The next mistake is done by a lot of mobile players specifically, and it's just something that won't work against a good opponent. And that's camping on ramp with the same movement. Going up and down really high or using subspace strip mine to go really high, paired with sniper. They do this a lot because it unfortunately works, and it works because they rely on auto shoot completely. I have seen some insane mobile players who actually move around the map, and I know when I see someone who's not using auto shoot. But doing this is the worst thing you want to do because it's insanely easy to punish. Any good player will eliminate you before you even get the chance to see them. That's why nobody uses subspace strip mine, for example, unless they're going for trick shots. Let me know in the comments if any of these helped you, and if you have any other advice that I could use in future videos, just let me know. Like and subscribe if you haven't,